So, picture this. You've saved up, you've booked your flights, you've even learned how to say, "Where is the bathroom?" in another language. For years, the dream of travel has been sold to us as this magical experience where you arrive in a new country and you're greeted with open arms, maybe a flower necklace, and definitely a smile. It's like the opening scene of a rom-com, but with more baggage fees. But here's the thing. In some of the world's most beautiful spots, that warmth is starting to feel, well, a little less warm. It's like showing up to a party you thought you were invited to, only to find the host glaring at you from across the room. Awkward. This isn't just a feeling either. We're talking about a real shift, a global vibe change. So today we're diving deep into the top 9 countries where travelers are reporting that the welcome mat has been pulled right out from under them. We're not just guessing here. This is based on real-world data, surveys, first-hand accounts, and the very loud, very clear backlash against what people are calling over-tourism. We'll look at the signs, the protests, and the policies that are making tourists feel like they've overstayed a welcome they never knew had an expiration date. It's a fascinating and honestly a pretty important story, and you might be thinking, okay, so some locals are grumpy. Why does this matter to me? Well, it matters because understanding why this is happening is key to being a better traveler. It's about knowing the difference between being a guest and being an invader. This isn't about scaring you away from traveling. It's about helping you understand the complex relationship between a place and its visitors. We need to know where travelers are feeling pushed out, and more importantly, why the locals are doing the pushing. So stick around, because things are about to get complicated. Spain. Land of sunshine, tapas, and massive protests telling you to get the hell out? Yes, you heard that right. In places like Barcelona, the Canary Islands, and Mallorca, the siesta has been interrupted by a fiesta of frustration. We're talking thousands of locals marching in the streets with signs that are not exactly subtle. Tourists go home is probably the tamest one. It's gotten so intense that you see graffiti on the walls, fake signs warning of jellyfish dangers on popular beaches just to keep tourists away, and even activists slashing the tires of rental bikes. This isn't just a few grumpy people, it's a full-blown movement. The heart of the issue? Locals feel they're being priced out of their own cities. Imagine trying to rent an apartment in your hometown, but you're competing with 1,000 Airbnbs catering to weekend partygoers. Rents skyrocket. The corner bakery gets replaced by a souvenir shop selling novelty sombreros, and suddenly your neighborhood doesn't feel like yours anymore. The infrastructure is strained, the streets are clogged, and the very culture that drew people in the first place is being eroded. So when you see those protests, it's not personal animosity towards you, the individual tourist. It's a desperate cry from a community trying to reclaim its home from the sheer overwhelming weight of millions of visitors. Amsterdam, the city of canals, culture, and a government-run ad campaign specifically designed to tell certain tourists, please, for the love of all that is holy, stay away. I'm not even joking. The Dutch government launched a digital campaign targeting young British men searching online for things like Stag Party Amsterdam or Cheap Hotel Amsterdam. What do they get? Videos showing them the grim reality of being arrested, getting a criminal record, and the general misery that comes with public drunkenness and disorderly conduct. It's like the opposite of a tourism ad. Instead of visit Amsterdam, it's visit Amsterdam and spend a night in jail. The city is trying to shed its reputation as a free-for-all party zone. For years, the red light district and the coffee shops have been a huge draw, but the city has had enough of the chaos that comes with it. They've banned smoking cannabis in public in the city center. They're moving the red light district, and they've cracked down on everything from booze cruises to loud tour groups. The message from the officials is crystal clear. We want high-quality tourists, not high tourists. They're trying to rebrand, to pivot from a city of vice to a city of Vermeer. It's a bold top-down strategy to manage over-tourism, and it makes it very clear that if you're coming just to get wasted, you are officially unwelcome. Japan is a country known for its politeness, its impeccable service, its deep sense of omotenashi, or wholehearted hospitality. So it's pretty shocking when you hear that even in Japan, the patience is wearing thin. The country has been absolutely smashed with a tidal wave of tourism. I mean record-breaking, system-straining numbers, and nowhere is this more apparent than in Kyoto, the cultural heart of Japan. The ancient city of temples and geishas is now so crowded that locals say they can't even get on the bus to go to work. It's like trying to get on the subway at rush hour, but the rush hour never ends and everyone is stopping to take a selfie. The backlash has been, well, very Japanese, but a backlash nonetheless. In the famous Gion district, where you might spot a geisha, they've had to put up signs and now outright ban tourists from entering the private alleys where the geishas live and work. Imagine people constantly camping outside your front door, taking pictures of you as you try to take out the trash. It's creepy, right? There's a growing frustration with tourists who don't understand or respect the local customs, chasing geishas for photos, trespassing in private gardens, leaving trash everywhere. It's forcing a country built on politeness to start drawing some very firm lines in the sand. Venice, the floating city. A place so beautiful, so unique, it feels like it was dreamed into existence. Unfortunately, that dream is turning into a bit of a nightmare for the people who actually live there. Venice has become the poster child for the over-tourism crisis in Europe. The city's population has dwindled to under 50,000 residents, while it's visited by up to 30 million people a year. Do the math. That's not a city, it's a theme park. And honestly, the locals are tired of being the unpaid extras in everyone else's vacation photos. This isn't a new problem, but the solutions are getting more and more drastic. First, they finally did it. They banned the giant city-sized cruise ships from sailing through the historic Giudecca Canal. It was a huge environmental and aesthetic issue, and a major victory for local activists. Now, they've introduced a tourist fee, a cover charge just to enter the city on peak days. It's a controversial move, the first of its kind, trying to turn the tide of day trippers who flood the city, buy very little, and leave their trash behind. It's a symbolic gesture that says, our city is not a free-for-all public space. It is a fragile living community, and there is a cost to experiencing it. Venice is drawing a line, and the rest of the world is watching. Now, Turkey is a bit of a different story. It's not so much the classic over-tourism problem we've seen in Spain or Italy. Instead, feeling unwelcome here is often tangled up in a much more complex web of politics, safety, and regional instability. For years, Turkey has been a bridge between East and West, a stunningly beautiful country with incredible history and food. But ongoing political unrest, frequent protests that can sometimes turn volatile, and a government that has become increasingly authoritarian have created an atmosphere of tension. This isn't about locals being tired of you taking pictures. It's about the entire country being on edge. Travel advisories from various governments often warn their citizens about potential risks, from proximity to the Syrian border to the possibility of arbitrary detention. While the average Turkish person you meet on the street is likely to be incredibly hospitable and welcoming, it's a cornerstone of their culture. The broader political climate can feel intimidating. The heavy police presence in major cities, the unpredictable nature of political demonstrations, and the general feeling that you need to be constantly aware of your surroundings can make a visitor feel less like a relaxed tourist and more like a nervous observer, which is not exactly the vacation vibe most people are going for. Croatia, especially its stunning Dalmatian coast, exploded in popularity, partly thanks to a little show called Game of Thrones. Suddenly, everyone wanted to walk the walls of King's Landing in Dubrovnik or chill on the beaches of Split. But with that massive influx of fans and party seekers came a wave of, let's call it, less than respectful behavior. Think drunk tourists climbing on historic monuments, people walking through ancient city centers in nothing but a bikini, and public spaces being treated like a giant open-air nightclub. The fantasy of visiting a medieval city clashed with the reality of cleaning up beer bottles and vomit. So, cities like Split and Dubrovnik decided to fight back. Not with protests, but with cold, hard cash. They've introduced a whole menu of fines for bad tourist behavior. Want to walk around shirtless in the old town? That'll be a fine. Eating or drinking on the steps of a historic monument? Fine. Wheeling your noisy suitcase through the cobbled streets instead of carrying it? Believe it or not, in some places, that's a fine. It's a direct attempt to legislate respect. The message is simple. We are happy to share our beautiful home with you, but it is our home, not your personal frat house. Behave or be prepared to pay up. Iran presents a fascinating and honestly often heartbreaking paradox. On an individual level, you will be hard-pressed to find a more hospitable, welcoming, and generous people on earth. Iranian culture is famous for something called tarof, which is this complex system of etiquette and politeness where hosts will go to extraordinary lengths to make a guest feel comfortable. Strangers might invite you into their homes for tea, share meals with you, and trust me, they'll refuse payment for services. It's just a deeply ingrained part of the national identity. Many travelers who visit Iran come back with stories of the incredible warmth and kindness of the people they met. But, and this is a huge but, that individual warmth exists in stark contrast to the official political climate. The government's relationship with many Western countries is, to put it mildly, tense. This creates a situation where, as a tourist, you feel caught in the middle. You may be treated like family by the people, but you're viewed with suspicion by the authorities. The risk of being detained, especially for dual nationals or citizens of certain Western countries, is real. This creates a constant, low-level anxiety that is the complete opposite of the welcome you receive from the public, making you feel simultaneously more welcome and more unwelcome than anywhere else on Earth. Okay, this one is probably the least surprising entry on the list. North Korea isn't pushing back against over-tourism. Its entire system is designed to make you feel like a controlled, surveilled, and fundamentally unwelcome entity. Visiting North Korea is less like a vacation and more like a tightly choreographed, state-sanctioned performance where you are both the audience and a prop. You are not allowed to go anywhere without your government-appointed guides. Your itinerary is fixed. Your interactions are monitored. The entire trip is a carefully curated piece of propaganda designed to show you only what the regime wants you to see. The risks here are off the charts. Simple mistakes, like disrespecting a picture of the leaders or trying to talk to a local without permission, can have catastrophic consequences, including long-term imprisonment. For citizens of some countries, like the United States, travel here is outright banned by their own governments for safety reasons. It is the textbook definition of a place that does not want independent tourists. You are not a guest. You are a liability, a potential problem to be managed from the moment you enter until the moment you leave. The concept of a warm welcome simply does not exist in this context. Visiting Russia has always come with a certain level of paperwork. The visa process alone can feel like a test of your will to live, requiring detailed itineraries, letters of invitation, and, well, a healthy dose of patience. But in recent years, this bureaucratic chill has been compounded by a geopolitical deep freeze. Traveling to Russia as a Western tourist now comes with a heavy layer of political tension. It's not about crowds or disrespectful behavior. It's about being a citizen of a country that might be in a diplomatic showdown with the host nation. It can be an uncomfortable position to be in. This tension manifests in subtle and not so subtle ways. There's a heightened sense of scrutiny at border crossings and an awareness that you are visiting a country with a very different worldview and media landscape. While, like in Iran, individual Russians can be incredibly warm and curious, the official state narrative can be openly hostile to the West. This creates a dissonance that's hard to ignore. The practical difficulties of travel, combined with the heavy political atmosphere, send a clear, if unspoken, message. You can come, but don't expect us to make it easy or comfortable for you, and we'll be watching. So, what have we learned? Well, it's clear the global tourism landscape is shifting under our feet. The postcard-perfect dream of being welcomed everywhere with open arms is colliding with the messy reality of life in the 21st century. What we're seeing in these 9 countries is a growing global tug-of-war. On one side, you have the undeniable economic boost that tourism brings: jobs, revenue, foreign currency. But on the other side, you have the very real, very human cost to local quality of life, cultural integrity, and the environment. The tension is boiling over. These destinations, from the sunny beaches of Spain to the tense borders of North Korea, aren't just isolated cases. They are canaries in the coal mine, representing a much broader, worldwide reckoning. Communities everywhere are starting to ask tough questions about the true price of tourism. They're trying to find a delicate balance between welcoming the world and preserving their own homes. It's a conversation that is moving from the fringes to the mainstream, forcing governments and travelers alike to rethink the entire model of mass tourism. Ultimately, this isn't a do not travel list. It's a travel smarter list. As travelers, we have a role to play in this changing dynamic. It's on us to be more than just consumers of a place. We need to be conscious guests. That means doing our research, listening to local voices, spending our money in ways that support the community, and showing basic respect. Because the future of travel depends on it. The world is still an incredible, beautiful place worth exploring, but we need to make sure that when we visit, we're part of the solution, not part of the problem. Thanks for watching.